Welcome to the Coastal Kitchen. Today I have enlisted the help of the staff that produced this show. I'm Karen Mashures and this is the Coastal Kitchen. Today we're going to be featuring Jacqueline Bryan's cheesy potato and vegetable frittata. We have a wonderful sausage spicy ring from Susan Bowers, who is my cousin. I've got a wonderful frozen fruit cup dessert from Nanaw, who's also known as Mary Helen McManus. She's Cat Eustace's great-grandmother. So I've already started. Prepping is a wonderful thing, and we need to get started because this takes just a little bit of time. Okay, I have cut up some new potatoes, and I've just sliced them thin. If you'd rather have them chopped, you can have them chopped. I'm going to turn my pan on, and I've got a black cast iron skillet, something that's going to be able to go into the oven. And I'm going to put a couple of teaspoons of olive oil in there. And on top of that, I'm putting some onion, about half a cup. And that is about a half a medium onion chopped up. And I have got 1 clove of garlic, and that's been minced, and that's going in too. We're going to let that start to warm up. And on top of that, we're going to put our potatoes. This is going to cook for about 10 minutes. Want the potatoes to become nice and soft. And this looks like a lot of vegetables, but we're making a frittata that's going to feed between 2 and 4 people. Depends on your appetite. All of those are in, and it's going to take about 10 minutes for everything to really get the way it should be. While that's going, I'm going to start my next step, which is my zucchini. And I'm going to use my mandolin with my zucchini also. And I've got some wonderful zucchini that I think you'll enjoy. It's called golden zucchini. And then I've got the regular green. All right. All I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these in, this big one in 1/3 and this little one in half. And again, if you would like to chop these up, just finely chop them. If you, I'm going to take this off real fast because I can do this by hand just as quick. Just got to watch fingers. But that's up to you. I like it thin. And it's jumping all over everywhere. When you're using a mandolin, you should always use the safety feature there. I also have something that helps, and it's a little cheese marker, and you can hold the cheese marker to protect your fingers if you want to do it the way that I'm doing it. Okay. One more. This will give us just about what we need. Okay, let me gather up all these little pieces that decided to go flying. And we're going to check these potatoes. And they're working. Okay, these are working. Let me get a little salt and pepper. And what I do is when I know I'm going to use a certain amount of salt and pepper, I just mix it together and put it in a little container. And we're just going to put a pinch on these right now. Maybe a pinch and a half. Okay, let's stir that in. And we just want these to get nice and soft. Okay, these potatoes are nice and brown. That's what we want. Even those little brown bits in the bottom are just fine. Want to take these out of the pan now. So I'm going to turn this off for just a second. Let me grab I've got one over here. Take these potatoes out of the pan, just put them on a separate plate. Get the onion and garlic. And we are going to put a little more olive oil in the pan and let our kale saute. Okay, that will sit over here. I'm going to put a little bit more olive oil, and I got this neat little thing that I found. It's a handle for my iron skillets, so my fingers don't get hot. Okay, a little more olive oil. Gonna let it go around, turn this back on. And my kale is going in. Now this has been washed. We have taken the stems out of it. And it's 2 cups of fresh kale. This is something you have to stir around too. We want it nice and wilted. If you would like, you can substitute spinach or Swiss chard, but I thought today we'd do kale. Okay, looks nice and wilted. It's just about ready. I'm going to move this and get my zucchini and my golden squash. That's going to go right on top. You can see how much that wilted down, so it doesn't quite look like the 2 cups that it was when we first put it in. Alright, now this is going to cook about 5 minutes. I'm going to put a little bit more salt and pepper on that. Couple pinches. And we're just going to let that work for a minute or 2. Alright, zucchini's in and almost done. Our next step is to put in our tomatoes. And I've got a tomato cut up a cup, and we're going to let the juices get in there and let it cook down till they become tender and nice and juicy, about 3 to 4 minutes. While that's working, I'm going to come over here and get my eggs, because it's just about time for my eggs. Let's give these a whisk, and I've got 6 large eggs. And I'm going to grab my salt and pepper over here. And this is where it really comes in handy. All right. Now we're going to let this sit while those tomatoes are working. Want that to be all ready to go. This is looking perfect and it smells wonderful. It's time now to put my potatoes and onions and garlic back in the pan. So slide those in. This is such a beautiful medley of color. All right, looking good. Now it's time to take our eggs, and we're going to pour our eggs right over the top. And that just envelops all of the vegetables. I'm going to move this around just a touch. Make sure everything gets covered. And this is working. Okay, now it's time for some tomato. And I'm just going to slice up a tomato to put on the top. I'm going to make it nice and thin. Get that little piece right out. Alright, gonna put this right on top. Put one slice in the middle and we'll put some right around the edge. And I think we can get one more slice out of this tomato. Okay. A little more salt and pepper. And now comes the cheese. About 1/4 cup of sliced mozzarella. And this is where, if you like it cheesier, you can make it cheesier. I like it a little bit cheesier, so I might put about 1/2 cup in. Okay, we're going to put about 2 tablespoons of Parmesan on top of that. And we're going to cover it up and let it cook for about 10 minutes. And then I'm going to pop it in the oven. So let's grab a lid. Turn this handle over here. And we've got it on low. We'll be back as soon as we have a word from our sponsors. I'm going to get everything cleaned up and we'll be making our sausage ring.
When you start with local produce, add some homegrown Carolina pride, and mix it all with a commitment to family, you get more than a locally based grocery store. You get the taste of home. Lowe's Foods. Lowe's Foods, proud sponsor of the Coastal Kitchen and ATM CTV.
Welcome back. We're going to do Susan's spicy sausage ring, and I have some bulk sausage. I've got 1 pound of spicy and 1 pound of regular. I like to use sage sausage also as my regular. So I just want you to take a spatula, just break it up just a little bit, and then we get to get our hands messy. Okay, first thing, 1 egg, and that's what binds it all together. So we're going to put our egg right in, and then Ritz crackers. Really simple, really easy, and you can crush them any way you want, but I'm going to use my rolling pin, and I'm going to grab a Ziploc bag, just pop them in, get some of the air out, close it up, and start rolling. Smash and crush. Okay, both sides all done. Clean rolling pin, and now we're just going to pour that right on top of our sausage. And time to get your hands dirty. Just make sure that you get everything combined. Every piece of sausage should have a little bit of those cracker crumbs. right, let's take a look at how easy this is going to be. Even though my hands are dirty, I'm going to grab a bundt pan with my arms, and there is nothing in the bundt pan because this will make enough oil to coat the pan, so you won't have to worry about it sticking. Okay, I'm making just little logs, about 2 inches by 2 inches, match the depth and height, and lay it right in. And then we're going to do another one, and we're going to form a circle in this bundt pan. Last one. And you can see that it almost makes it. So now I'm going to mold the pieces together so it becomes one. And I'm going to make sure that everything's pretty evenly because we want to make sure it cooks evenly. Alright, I'm going to wash my hands and we're going to pop this in the oven. 350 degrees for about 35 minutes, depending upon the heat of your oven. It might take just a little bit longer, so up to 40 minutes. You'll know when it's done. And the smell is incredible. Okay. $350 for 40 minutes. Now let's take a look at our frittata. We've got to take the top off of it and put it on broil. So I'm going to uncover it real fast. And slide it right back in. Gosh, that smells good. And we're going to put this on broil. And I've got to watch it closely. It's going to take about 3 minutes at the most to finish. While we're waiting, I have got a treat for you, a mimosa. This is something that everybody enjoys at a brunch or a lunch. And the best way to make it is with fresh squeezed orange juice. And I've already squeezed about 8 oranges right there. We're going to squeeze one more, because I want about little over 2 cups of orange juice. Okay, let's flip this down. And while we're waiting for that to come out, this is called a pink mimosa. And the reason is I'm using some grenadine syrup, just about a teaspoon in each glass. The secret to a mimosa is everything should be in proportion equally. So I'm going to slide that orange juice right in there. I'm going to put my orange juice in first. And I'm going to go about halfway up. See how that's mixing the grenadine without even thinking about it. And now it's time for your champagne or your sparkling wine. I'm using Prosecco because I like the lighter feel of Prosecco. You don't even have to stir. All you have to do is pour, and the orange juice and grenadine, they are mixed by the bubbles of your sparkling wine. Okay, pretty way to finish it off. Cut a piece of orange slice. Just slice it right in half. Give it a little nip. You can even put a cherry in it if you want. Wonderful, wonderful drink. Okay, let's check this frittata real fast. Oh, it's starting to bubble and starting to turn brown. About another minute and a half. I'm going to clean this up and we'll take our frittata out of the oven after we have word from our sponsors.
The Coastal Kitchen would like to say thank you to our sponsors at Holden Brothers Farm Market in Chiled for supplying the fresh produce on this week's show. Swing by their indoor market located near mile marker 10 on Highway 17 or check them out online at holdenbrothersfarmmarket.com.
Okay, got the sausage in the oven. Now I'm going to take my chives and just give them a nice chop. This is going to sprinkle on the top after we bring it out of the oven. And this is a really terrific dish because you can serve it for breakfast. You can serve it as an appetizer at a party. It is fabulous. Okay, so that's done and ready. I've also got some stone ground mustard. I love stone ground mustard with this sausage roll. So we're going to put those right over there. I've got to get my frittata out. Hold on, let me get this off. And it should, oh, it's perfect. Take a look at that. Ooh. Okay. That's going to cool for a few minutes, and while it cools, we're going to start on our frozen fruit salad. This is a wonderfully easy dessert, and I'd like to take just a minute to get one of our crew members to come over here just a minute, because this is her great-grandmother's recipe. Don't be shy. Come on in, Kat. This is Kat Hustis. She just got married recently, and we said we were going to do some family things, and this comes from your family.
This does. This does. This reminds me so much of Nana. She was a wonderful woman. And this recipe is just, not only is it remind me of summer, but it reminds me of her and going home and going to my house because my mother made it, her mother made it, my aunt and cousins. We just adore this recipe, and it brings back so many memories of going to Nana's house. And you look like you're about to do a great job. You got all the stuff ready.
Well, we're going to have fun, but you're going to have to taste it to make sure I do it right.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. Will you take it
Well, I'm going to
away?
get started. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put my sour cream in the bowl, big bowl. Let's just get all of that together. It's amazing how those wonderful family recipes keep going through generations and generations. They're the best kind. Okay, now I'm going to put in crushed pineapple, 1 small can, and I've got some granulated sugar, pecans. You can use the nuts of your choice, but I chose pecans. And I'm just going to give this a nice little stir. I'll tell you what, pineapple is always a smell of summer. That and Thanksgiving, because you can't have Thanksgiving without something with pineapple in it. Okay. I'm going to let that set for just a minute, and I have got maraschino cherries. And I put them in my little colander and drained them. We're going to chop them up. Want some medium-sized chunks. They don't have to be too small, but you don't want them too big either. And I think that Kat would say her family liked something, they just put a little bit more of it in there. Alright, now let's give it a chop this way. One more. And in they go. Now let's get those stirred in. Best part about this is, from what I understand, Kat would always go to her grandmother's house and her great-grandmother's house, and there would always be some in the freezer because they keep for an extremely long time. So for a few weeks you can keep a batch, and this batch makes about 12. So if you need 12 for a party, make a batch. If you want some just to put in the refrigerator instead of having ice cream, have one of these. Alright, I'm going to take the bananas and I'm just going to cut them lengthwise after I cut them in half. I'm going to cut them again right down the center. and put them all together, and I'm going to chop them into smaller pieces. Makes it quick and easy. This is a really fast dessert, fun to make with kids too. Okay, first banana in. After banana too, it starts to get a little bit slippery, so just be careful with your fingers. Alright, now let's let that get all mixed up, and I'm going to rinse my fingers real quick because we've got do the last step to get these ready to eat. I've got a muffin tin lined with paper cup holders, and I'm using an ice cream scoop, and I'm just going to get my ice cream scoop almost full and put a lovely amount right there. And this ice cream scoop is really about the right size for me because it fills it up nicely, just a touch over the top. I think we can put just a touch more right there. While I finish this up, we're going to have a quick word from our sponsors. I'll get everything ready to go. Now, the one thing that you need to remember is that you put these in the freezer covered and let them freeze completely through. After they're frozen, you can take them out and put them in a Ziploc bag and keep them in the freezer for up to 6 weeks. So I'm going to get this ready. We'll see you back in just a minute.
When you start with local produce, add some homegrown Carolina pride, and mix it all with a commitment to family, you get more than a locally based grocery store. You get the taste of home. Lowe's Foods. Lowe's Foods, proud sponsor of the Coastal Kitchen and ATM CTV.
What a wonderful day, and it is so special to have friends and family that pass their recipes down. I'd like to thank everyone for sharing today. And if you have a recipe that you'd like to share, look for us on Facebook, message us there. Don't forget to search for the Coastal Kitchen. Let's take a quick look at our sausage roll. Just make sure that you pour all the grease off before you put your chives on top. Our frittata is absolutely scrumptious looking, and of course we've got our frozen fruit cups. Have a great day. Hope everything is good in your world, and remember, it's the way you like it. See you next time.
We are ATMC TV, Channel 3 and HD Channel 910, your community channel.
ATMC TV works hard to bring you the best in local programming for Brunswick and Columbus counties. Our goal is to provide local programming that is interesting, informative, and entertaining to the residents of our area. ATMC TV also offers all their information at atmctv.com. Find out when your favorite shows are airing, watch current ATMC TV episodes, check the local bulletins, or even submit a public service announcement about your organization. Be sure to check us out on the web at ATMC.